Okay, what we're going to make today is a lace up front full flare circle sundress. What you're going to need to do is you're going to need to cut 2 of your skirt sections to the fold, 1 of the back section to the fold, and 2 of the front section turned over at the central line. A lace up front dress with a full circle skirt, and what you need to do is print out your pattern in the required size and cut it out after you've stuck it together at the cut marks. Then lay your pattern on your fabric, lay your fabric folded in half to the fold with a stretch going around the body. Once you've cut out all the pieces that you need to cut a piece of binding down the side of the fabric. As you can see, it's along the self edge, and it must be 4.2 centimeters wide, or the width that is required for your binder foot on your machine. Now you want to make the binding using your chosen binder for your sewing machine. Cut the number of required loops from your piece of binding and nick the front bodice of your dress for however many loops you want to add at the front. You can follow the pattern instructions exactly, or you can add extra or less depending on your own preference. Then stay stitch those loops in place. You can alternatively just overlock them on, but if you're working with soft fabric, it's possibly best to first stitch them with a straight sewing machine so that you get them exactly even. Cut the binding into 45 centimeter strips and attach that to the top point of your bodice on either side. Now we're going to lay the other section of the front of the bodice right sides together over this piece, and we're going to overlock the two together. Here we've attached the straps on the inside with the right sides together, and here we have attached the loops. And before we turned it right side round, this is what you're aiming for. You should have overlocked each outer edge of your bodice, going up to the point at the top point, going up to the point, down to the point at the lace-up section, and so on, with your loops inside and with your binding for the straps inside those two pieces. Next, you want to neaten all the edges of your bodice where you've already turned it to the right side, and you just want to overlock both sections of the bodice together at the sides and at the base. Make it easier when you construct the garment in the end. Cut the elastic for the back of the bodice according to the instructions on the pattern, and you should use knitted elastic. It should look like that, not non-knitted elastic, not woven elastic. Then attach your piece of elastic, measuring it evenly across the top of the back of the bodice. You're going to attach the back of the bodice to the front of the bodice, right sides together, by folding the top edge of the elastic just over the top edge of the front at the side in this manner. For instance, you're going to hold that. You're going to fold this over the top like that, and you're going to overlock that side of the bodice. to have that final effect. Next up, we're going to lay the circle skirt right sides together, and we're going to stitch along the top section of that skirt. We've sewn the skirt right sides together and neatened the hem at the edge. And now we're going to take the bodice, which has been constructed, the back has been sewn onto the front, the elasticated back sewn onto the front, and we're going to pop it in to the top of the circle skirt, right sides together, with the bottom of the bodice matching to the top of the circle skirt. Right sides together, matching our seams. Side seams of the bodice to the side seams of the skirt. Attached the bodice to the skirt, matching your side seams, skirt side seam to bodice side seam, right sides together, and evenly fed your fabric through your overlocker so that there are no areas of gathers or stretches, nice and even. And you've neatened your hem edge. I can turn it around and get an impression of how this dress is going to look. There you have the lace up and the flare. And now we want to finish by measuring our straps and attaching them to the back of the bodice. So there we have the lace up, and I've put the dress on the mannequin so you can get an impression of it. And now if you want to measure your straps, you're going to take the straps over the shoulder and measure them where you want them, how long you want them attached to the back, or alternatively you can just tie it as a halter and finish the back area. We're going to go around and have a look at the back, which has not yet been finished. And that is the fit. On a size 30-inch, or in American sizing, this would be about a size 1 that I've made here. Going to hem the top edge of the bodice where we folded it over the side edge. We're now going to just stitch the elastic down to the edge, and when we're finished with that, we're going to hem the edge of the dress. You either need a stretch twin needle or a stretch stitch on your machine. If you don't have a stretch stitch, rather do the hem by hand.